Hey guys, it's Delora Dabbles here, and today I want to talk about my top 2 books series. So I'm going to do a series that are top 2 books on a subject. Since it's a little hard to pick just one book, I decided to do top 2. The other thing about the top 2 is how 2 books can work in tandem with one another to make a very complete study experience. So the first 3-part series of my top 2 books is going to be different tarot reading styles. So, you know, there are basically 3 main branches, in my opinion, of reading tarot. You have Thoth, you have Marseilles, and you have Rider-Waite-Smith, right? So we're going to start with the OG. We're going to start with how to read Marseilles and my top 2 books on reading Marseilles style decks or Pip style decks. So the 2 books are Untold Tarot by Caitlin Matthews and Tarot on Earth by Tom Benjamin. Now, I'm going to discuss this book first. I love-hate this book. I do. I love-hate this book because Caitlin Matthews kind of gets in the way of herself, right? She makes some really snide comments about Rider-Waite-Smith decks, and I get it. You know, she's trying to make a case for why Marseilles is better. But if you have to tear someone else down to bring yourself up, I question whether you really belong on that pedestal or not. If you had to beat people up on your way to get there, right? So I feel like there was a better way for her to make Marseilles important than to try to make Rider-Waite-Smith less important. And I do get the feeling that she's just from having read this book cover to cover and this night, like she'll go chapters without saying anything, and then she'll say something and I'm like, that had nothing to do with anything we were talking about. Like, if I were the editor, I would have taken that entire sentence out of that chapter. Like, it did not pertain to the theme of the chapter. It was just her making a jab at other styles of reading tarot. And having read this book cover to cover, I definitely get this weird inkling feeling. This is just my opinion. She's kind of bitter that Rider-Waite-Smith is so popular and that Marseilles has fallen by the wayside. That's just my opinion. But like I said, the meat of the book is very, very useful. It's very well researched. Caitlin Matthews knows her stuff. Even if she presents it at times in a very competitive manner. We'll call that competitive. Very aggressively competitive. She has some amazing tables in here, and I love kind of how she breaks different things down. I don't always agree with what she says about the suits meanings or the numerological meanings even. Sometimes I'm like, well, that was a bit of a stretch. But this is also, I'm sure, combining her reading experience. And if there's one thing that I can, you know, like say for certain, it's that the longer someone reads tarot, the more different they're going to read the minors from someone else. Minors cards are definitely something that you kind of customize to yourself, especially so when you're talking about Marseilles and Pip style decks. Because a picture can say 1,000 words, but when you're coming up with your own numerological and suit meanings and combining those from Tarot on Earth, right? Then you really see just how flexible this style of tarot can be, right? So I like that I can read this book and I can agree and I can disagree, and I've gotten to the point where I feel confident enough to do that. I have the experience to do that and to feel confident that it's like, oh, well, you know, that's not for me. So I wanted to make it a point of telling you that just in case you read some stuff in here and it's not for you. There's a reason why I am suggesting the 2 of these together, because she can be very like, this is how it is, and this is how it's always been, and this is how it will always be. She can be a little bit like that. Not too much, but she can be a little bit like that. She has some really great grand tableau and methods for shuffling for the grand tableau. Yes, some of them involve dividing the deck into 3 piles, looking for the significator card, like using the court cards. Look for your current significator cards in one of the 3 piles, and then you use the pile that their significator card is in. And that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool to me. I like the idea of that. And she's got several different GTs of varying sizes. And I mean, I haven't seen very many tarot grand tableaus around. I like that she is very well researched, that whenever she says something, she actually does have research to back it up. And that's super neat. The whole chapter on the majors, which she calls them trumps, but that's a little bit of a trigger word for me. Could have caused me to have some flashbacks. I'm just kidding. I shouldn't make PTSD jokes because I have PTSD. Anyway, yeah, so her whole section on the majors is super dry because I cannot tell you guys how many times I've read about the majors. I know what the majors do, so feel free to skip that section as well. A lot of the stuff in the middle of the book are actually some concepts that have been introduced by, I hope I'm saying his name right, Yoav Ben Dov, and then the other guy who was with him. Yeah, so some of their concepts creep up in here, and of course she cites her sources, and I can always appreciate that. But yeah, this is a really, really good research book. On to Tarot on Earth. This is a really, really good figure out what the best fit for you is book. And it's a workbook. And there are a lot of really, really good reviews on here already of just this book, that if you're curious, and of course go check out Tom Benjamin. I love Tom Benjamin and his channel. He's got some really great pip videos. And I have to say that his book and working it like a workbook is so valuable to me when I was first trying to figure out Marseille style. I'm not an expert at Marseille style reading, but I do love to practice Marseille style reading, and I don't feel confident enough to do it whenever I'm doing paid readings. I'm still pretty much, I use Lenormand and Rider-Waite-Smith for that predominantly. Every now and then I'll use Thoth, but I'm still not confident enough to do paid readings with the Marseille. But it is a fun journey that I have embarked on, and this kind of helped me figure out what path I wanted to take and where I wanted to go with it and all of that. So these books fit really, really well together because Caitlin Matthews is like super, super structured and grounded. And Tom Benjamin's like, do whatever you want. It's all you. Do you, boo-boo, right? And so like reading them, like just picking one of these and reading them separately is going to be a little unbalanced. If you read them both together, it brings balance. And as a Libra, I love that. So those are my Marseille top 2s. The other perk of doing top 2s like this is that the videos are shorter because they're not full reviews. Haha. Anyway, I hope that you guys like the idea of me doing top 2s. I'm going to do this 3-part series, and I'm going to see what the reception is like on them. And maybe I will do top 2s on other subjects than just tarot. So we'll see where it goes. And if you liked this, then hit the like button so I know that these are the kinds of videos you like. Any comments, questions, whatever, put them in the comment section down below and I'll get back to you right away. And until next time, happy dabbling and bye-bye.